So get ready for this lit month of boxing when we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and for those who don't know, it's Bean as in like jelly bean, is how you pronounce it, Bean. So, what we saw last night was definitely gratifying if you're a boxing fan. You had Vasil Lomachenko, the vet, versus George Kambosos. I was hoping that George Kambosos could defy the odds and maybe be victorious in this fight, but it just goes to show how good Lomachenko is as a tactical and technical boxer, you know. And so basically what I'm trying to convey is that George Kambosos got a masterclass handed to him. Vasil Lomachenko put on a masterclass last night. Round one was probably the best round for George Kambosos. He was able to land some good body hooks to the body of his opponent, Lomachenko. But then he started having issues to do it continuously round after round. That matrix style, that aggressive style of Loma, you can't give him the upper hand because he's just that good. You know, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to come towards you, and that's where he has all his skill, all his power, all his different pivots and his matrix style footwork. The key for Kambosos, which I know is harder or it's easier said than done, is he needed to try to offset the timing and the rhythm. Go back and look at the T.O. fight, who was able to beat Loma. How did he accomplish that? To fight him in a style similar to that. Putting pressure on him. But Kambosos just didn't have that type of skill set, but much respect to him. He stepped in there in the ring with one of the best, and you got to give him credit for that. In a day of boxing where too many of the top tier fighters avoid each other to try to protect their O and things of that nature. It was a very, very, very good fight, and Loma did as most people predicted he would. But like I said, I was rooting for the underdog. But he just has so many skills, man, and he just downloads after each round. He's constantly downloading data and looking at the rhythm and the things that his opponent is doing. And he takes all of that once he computes it in his mental computer, and he uses everything they do against them. He was able to keep Kambosos on the back foot majority of the fight. And that's where he wants any opponent, you know. And he took charge. In the 11th round, he was able to drop Kambosos with a body shot, which took a lot out of Kambosos, but you could see him doing everything he could to rise back to his feet. But by that time, that one body punch had took everything from him. And then, unfortunately, it was like a vulture going after their prey. He just jumped right up on Kambosos, got him in the corner, and wailed on him, and dropped him again, and it was a TKO stoppage. The first time that Kambosos had been stopped in a fight. But like I said, shout out to Kambosos for being a warrior, man. Don't hang your head down. You definitely fought one of the best. Had you had fought somebody who was ranked lower than you or not seemed to be on your level and you had lost, then you might feel a little bit bad. But you fought somebody who was the best of the best, and you lost. I mean, it happens. We got to get out of the mentality of this era of boxing that a fighter loses and you just want to trash a fighter. It's not like this guy fought somebody you never knew of. He fought somebody who has a name, somebody who has been beating some of the best of this era, you know, in fighting Lomachenko. So again, like I said, applaud and salute to both fighters. And I'll be looking forward to seeing Loma in the future and see who would be his next opponent. I personally wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with Teofimo Lopez. And I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with Devin Haney. Two fighters that beat Loma. One was controversial with Haney, and the one with Tio. Loma allegedly had some type of injury. So if they can run that back, I think it would be very good to see that. So let me know what you think about last night's fight. It was definitely good, exhilarating, and I look forward to seeing more Loma in the future. If he fights a couple more fights, I know he's getting up in age. So what do you think he's going to do next? Who do you think would be his next opponent? Who would you like to see him fight next? And what's the outcome of that fight? Comment in the comment section below. All right, so next Saturday, on the 18th, we're going to see a blockbuster. We're going to see Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for Undisputed Heavyweight Champion. We haven't seen this in 25 years, since 1999, with the great Lennox Lewis. And shout out to Lennox Lewis, hailing from UK. Now, we haven't seen Undisputed in 25 years, and now you got two undefeated fighters. One is a unified champion, Usyk, who holds a few belts, and then you got Tyson Fury, who holds the WBC and the lineal champion. And I want to say they said it was like 7 or 8 belts. And that's a lot to digest and to remember. You got your WBC, you got your Ring Magazine, your lineal, the Riyadh, the IBF, the IBO, all these different belts. But only one guy will bring all the belts back. Either the belts will be going back to UK with Tyson Fury, or they'll be going back to Ukraine with Usyk. My prediction is Usyk will win and be taking it back to the Ukraine. So shouts out to everybody in the chat rooms that we converse back and forth. Neil, Paul, and Jamie. I know Tyson Fury is your boy, but he's going down in 6 days. And Usyk's going to be the one to have his fist raised and be undisputed next week. And I stand firm on that. I'm going to double down on that right now. So if I'm wrong, we'll just see on my next podcast when I break down the actual fight after it happens. But I feel that Usyk has all the tools that he needs to win. And I even know my big cousin, who was on my last podcast featuring Zoe, he feels that Tyson Fury will win. But here is why I feel Usyk wins. He's shorter. He's about 7 inches shorter in reach. But he knows how to use a bigger man's strengths against him. He has more stamina because he's a lighter fighter naturally. He moved up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. So he's moved into and acclimated himself from that smaller cruiserweight to the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury has always been big, but he's always had a yo-yo diet. He'll be 270 pounds in a fight. Then he might be 260 in a fight. Then he might be 270 and then 265. He kind of like yo-yos too much, whereas Usyk kind of stays at a certain ideal weight. And I think that's going to benefit Usyk better. They both got good footwork, but Usyk is a southpaw. I'd assume he probably weigh about 235 in this fight. And Tyson Fury might weigh, according to the pictures we saw, if they're not Photoshopped, Tyson Fury will probably weigh about 260. At the smallest, 255, but at him claiming to be 6'9", 255 will look kind of small on him. So I'm assuming 260. So you got a guy who's 260 versus Usyk, who's about 235. He's going to outweigh him by a good 30 pounds, 25 pounds. However, I think that will be used against him once again. You can see Tyson Fury using his somewhat dirty tactics to where he's a bigger man. He's going to try to kind of like bear hug, clench on Usyk and lean on him and use all that body weight to drain his opponent. I think Usyk will sidestep him. He will pivot. He will push him back. And as he comes in to lunge to grab him, it will be smart of Usyk to have some type of counterattack. When Fury comes in to grab him, throw a couple of punches up the middle. Make him respect your power. Go to his body. Now, the narrative has been that Usyk has a weak body and couldn't take body punches. I would have to digress with that because I feel like he took some of the best punches that Anthony Joshua had. And AJ is a power puncher, we all know, a knockout puncher. In the same aspect, so is Daniel Dubois, another power puncher, who executed a lot of body attack on Usyk when he fought him. The controversy was there was a borderline body shot, we all know, and they went to appeal it to try to say it was a clean shot. It was overturned. When I asked my cousin, he said the same thing. He felt like it was a low blow. So we could get past that part and just move on to the fight coming on this weekend and let the past be the past in that aspect and just look forward to the fight this Saturday. So if Usyk is somehow weak to his body, hey, Fury, won't you exploit that? If that's his weakness, that should be your go-to, right? So if Usyk can't take body punches, then Fury, I feel like you'll be the one to exploit that this upcoming weekend. Go to his body and show everybody that he can't take body shots. I don't think that's the case. And I do think you will be the one with your head down in defeat, unfortunately. So like I said, respects to both of these guys who are undefeated. Once again, I'm rolling with Usyk. Please vote. We'll have a poll, and you can vote with Usyk versus Fury for Undisputed. Who do you feel will win? And as always, I appreciate everything. Hit that like, subscribe, and tell a friend or two. And I'll see you in the next round. Peace.